Hello world.
How's it going, everybody? So, kind of rushing for time this week and not going to have a TOT out for you tonight because I just can't get to it. Got some shipments in, I got some stuff to deal with, and the weather was nice and I could get out here in my tubs.
Turn you guys around. So, they're finally getting their first water change after the whole winter. They haven't had their water changed this whole winter, so they're finally getting a nice deep water change. I've actually been running it for about an hour now. And in here I got red Waponga lasers. They're still in there. A couple are just a pair. No babies or anything. This is full of some, I believe to be Bowmani rainbow fish. And then I had golden white clouds in here. Now I did have them out and about because the water was real cold for some reason. I think the outlet went off in here and like for some reason it just doesn't work. So I did end up letting the golden white clouds live down there, but since it's warm, I do now have them back in a breeding basket so I can try to get some more babies out of them, which will be nice. And then in here's the babies from last fall, like right before winter. I bred them right before winter. And then those are the babies from them, which they've gotten big. Only thing in there really is just algae, barely any plants, but I mean they don't need anything but algae really. And I did a lot of cleaning out too. A lot of them were taken over by algae, kind of like that, and just took it out of there. But hello everybody in the chat. Mr. B says, what's the temp there? So the temps today, I believe, is like 75 or so. There we go. I'm back. My son was just trying to call me. I guess when they try to FaceTime, it kicks you off there. That's his phase right now. But I'll just keep hopping on and off here. It was just going to be a quick update. I got a bunch of dwarf neons in here. The valve's still doing pretty good. Got a lot of algae on it, but it's still looking pretty good. Hopefully my 3-year-old gets the idea that I can't talk right now. There you can see one of the dwarf neons. And the water in here was actually like 86 plus because I had the heater. You can see a heater right there in the middle. It was 86 plus and it was getting kind of toasty in here, and the algae was really holding that water in, or really holding that heat in. There it's overflowing. Yeah, it might have lagged a little bit because my son was trying to FaceTime me. Being outdoors, I should be alright being on Verizon. But I'm actually just pythoning it in since the groundwater. I've got a line over here that's actually hooked up into the outdoor spigot, and I could just turn the water on that way, but the groundwater is way too cold to be using it, so I'm just running the python in from the house, from the kitchen. But yeah, I can't wait to do more summer tubbing. I got literally a ton of containers coming in, like 2,100 pounds of containers coming in for a fry rack that I gotta deal with here next week. That's gonna be a little crazy. Might lose some fry with your overflowing. No, not in there so much. There wasn't really a whole lot of fry whenever I pulled stuff out. And I do have this, see, I've got an outflow here. This is how it normally should outflow. But I keep this in here to keep the fish from going down in it. But when I am filling it, I gotta come over here every so often and deal with it. Morning, morning. But yeah, I didn't want to take that top off, but I kind of had to. Because when I first started that pump, this whole overspray bar just kicked off and it was shooting water everywhere. I couldn't even get to it. So it gave me a good reason to stick these golden white clouds back into their breeding trays. 2,100 pounds. Can your deck support that weight? Oh no, this is probably more than 2,100 pounds. I'm getting containers. They're these small fry rack containers for like the zebra fish racking systems. I'm getting 2,100 pounds of that. Supposedly, he told me there was 3 pallets, they were 700 pounds a piece. So that's gonna be a lot to deal with. Oh man, I missed one. I'm gonna have to get that fish out. I gotta keep them topped too, because they will jump out of there. That one might have even jumped out of there. I have to fish them out. It's still too cold here in the UK. Yeah, it's only supposed to be warm here for a couple days, and then it's supposed to get back down into the 20s and 30s. So I'm gonna have to get the top back up on there. What's up, Jeff Rose Fish Keeping? Hey, I'm gonna email you back about that, by the way. He's wanting to do a fish room tour. Austin Chains, hello, hello. I'm thinking of doing endlers and some tubs this summer. Any advice? So, endlers, or really any fish, is really easy outdoors. You can add plants, or you can just let algae be your plant. What I'll do, if I don't have any plants, see like this bush here, it's not a sappy bush, it's a real kind of dry, just normal bush. And I'll just trim that bush, and I'll stick it in there, and it creates cover for all the fish. They'll breed on it, it'll collect mulm, they'll graze on it, and they'll create more algae, everything else like that. So you can just grab things out of the yard as long as they're not sappy and resiny, and just throw it in if you don't really have plants. Or get you some water lettuce. It all depends on your sunlight. See, most of these tubs get a northern light, or not northern, but morning light. And after, like, say 3 o'clock or so, they're in the shade. Like right now, like the sun is out. Oh, look at that. Throwing some, no, it's just contrail. But there's a shadow. That's weird. There's a shadow on that line. You see that shadow? Kind of weird. Anyway, but this gets a lot of shade in the evening, so it all depends on your light. You can either plant trees to hide, or if you do got just light all over, it's just full sun all day long, I would recommend water lettuce or just some type of top floater to kind of deflect a lot of that light. And maybe even throw some anubiases on the bottom of it that would grow in that lower light. So there's different ways you can do it. And if you have a lot of shade, then I just recommend like chopping bushes and stuff and throwing them in. Or just maybe some whatchamacallit, anubias or something. There's all kinds of strange stuff going on up there. There is. I get a lot of likes, so I need some larger floating plants to cover or put near the deck. Yep. Definitely. Any tips for staghorn algae problems? So a staghorn algae, it does not like H2, like hydrogen peroxide. And it also does not like carbon excel. So what I'll do is I'll drop the water level of the whole tank or whatever, and then it'll expose either the staghorn or blackbeard algae. This works for both. And you could either put the excel directly on it. I actually have a spray bottle that I can spray it. I don't use it much anymore, but you could either use that or the hydrogen peroxide, and it'll start changing its colors, and you'll know it's dying, and then it'll be gone. And with the amount you use, I mean, just do like regular dosing. Like the hydrogen peroxide, I've done as much as 10 milliliters per 10 gallons. So that would be a milliliter per gallon. But I don't recommend dosing that high. I would go like 2 milliliters per 10 gallons. Thank you for the super chat, Allison Chains. I appreciate that. Alright, so any last questions before I hop off here? I'm wanting to get something going on over here with some tubs, but how are your baby barbs doing? I think they turned into rainbow fish. I think they turned into rainbow fish. They're in green water right now too, so it is still kind of hard to tell, and I haven't looked in there for a while. Love your funky background music in most of your videos, but nothing can beat the nature in the background right now. Birds singing. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It was beautiful out here. Gary's Aquatics. Hey Lucas, how's it going, Fish Fam? Hope everybody's doing great. Remember, smash that like button, Fish Fam. Right on, Gary. I appreciate that. And like, subscribe, hit that notification bell and all that jazz too. Any issues with the heat during the summer? So, no, not so much. Since it's shaded for most of the part, I don't have any issues. And I actually keep the heaters, well, depends on how warm it is. I probably unplug the heaters for 3 to 4 months. The rest of the time, they're pretty much running. What would be the best filtration on, let's say, 110 Rubbermaid tub? Just a single tub. If you're doing it outside, just do an airline or nothing. Like, I hardly, like, all winter long, this was not running all winter long. So I actually had to flush the sump. Underneath the deck is a huge sump that's the size of this. And I actually flushed all that out because I knew there was probably dead, nasty stuff. Who knows what it was like in there, because I can't get the top off very well. But none of this was running, so it was no airline, no filter, no nothing besides plants and fish and a heater. And this has a ton of huge rainbows in it. Rainbows, golden white clouds, and then a bunch of rainbows in here too. I think this got too hot for my shrimp. I had some orange shrimp in there, but I think it may have got too hot in there. Because that algae, this algae right here really holds heat. Holds heat in big time. I almost wonder if this grows from heat more than anything. The way that I see it develop and grow, it kind of really correlates with the heat. Because I didn't have it in this tub where it was cooler. Greg, and thank you so much for the super chat. Love seeing your tubs, man. Me too. I'm so glad I could take the top off, even though I didn't want to take the top off. But it's still nice to finally see it and reminisce on spring coming. You're welcome, Andrew Rogers. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a live one like this. Well, alright, everybody. I actually got some food waiting on me. I haven't even eaten all day. It's been insanity. My hours have just been absolutely crazy. I've had like no sleep. I've just been absolutely exhausted. But I gotta keep progressing. I gotta keep going. So it was nice to actually go live too. I haven't done this for a long time because they usually don't do so well on the YouTube channel, but whatever. Who cares? But I hope you guys enjoyed. May have learned something. Until next time, thank you all for hanging out. Peace. Oh, don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.